Hi team, it's Gina Brooks, and today we are going to do a part 2 of my last video that we did on how to interview during COVID. I'm going to add a few additional tips, but also talk to you a little bit about not just interviewing, but how do you search for a job during COVID? How do you get in the doors of an organization when a lot of people are being laid off? So to start up with everything that's been going on, there's good and bad, mostly bad. But with everything that's bad, there's always some sort of opportunity based on things that happen that aren't great, right? And one of those things is the fact that a lot of people have voluntarily left different organizations due to COVID or just fear or different personal reasons. And then a lot of organizations are benefiting from COVID, okay? So if you're out looking actively for a job, be aware of who's hiring during these times, meaning most companies that are essential workers, obviously they'll be employed still. And then even look at a lot of the restaurants or stores. They are pumping up actually, like UPS and Amazon and all the delivery places, because people are at home now more than ever and everyone is ordering out. So there is a lot of additional opportunity for employment in those fields. So be aware of who's hiring right now. And if that's something that you're interested in getting a foot in the door, this might be the best time. For example, if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of job experience, but you're wanting to get in a job, this might be actually a decent time. Matter of fact, my son just turned 18 and he's going to be looking for a job, and it is definitely harder to sell someone who's never worked before. But unfortunately, and fortunately for him, the benefit is right now is that some of these entry-level jobs, like at the grocery stores or deliveries at restaurants, they are actually looking for employees, and this might be a great time for him to go in there and try to get at least an interview, right? Okay, so speaking of interviews and the whole application process, this is way before COVID, but the whole like going into a place of business and asking for an application and being interviewed right on the spot has pretty much ended. Most companies now will go on LinkedIn, they will go on Indeed or different job posting sites. They will have live applications where you fill it out online, submit it, or just submit your resume. That's pretty much what's happening now. So those old times of you being able to go into a business and develop a relationship has kind of ended, right? So one of the things I've always taught my kids is you have to stand out. You have to stand out because everyone now is literally just a piece of paper. So if I'm looking at a piece of paper, I have no idea what your personality is. I have no idea what your soft skills are. I only can see what's on there. So what I'm going to look at is experience and education. Okay, so that tells me part of the story, but not all of the story, right? Because as I said in my last video, employers are interested in soft skills now. So how do you transcend those soft skills when everything is purely online? Okay, I'm going to give you a few tips. Start off, we need to look at that resume. Even if you don't have all the experience, how can we pump up that resume? This is how you can do it. Get creative. Now, please, and I'm begging you, do not, when I say creative, I don't mean put your picture on your resume. Don't do that. That's not a good idea, okay? For lots of reasons, but mainly because it's not appropriate. But how can you put a personal touch to your resume? I suggest always putting an objective on there. And if you've done your research, like I said last time in the last video, research the company that you're interested in. And what this will mean is you're going to have to update your objectives specific to each job you're applying for. So for example, let's say I'm applying at Proteus. If I've done my research, I know that Proteus is a organization whose mission is to help and serve those who need assistance with education, with training, with supportive services, with energy savings, many, many things. But basically, the mission is to serve. So I'm going to know that my objective on there is to work for an organization who's committed to serving and helping the local community in which I live. Okay, that's a great way to stand out, because if I'm looking, that first thing I'm going to look at is the objective. And let's say you don't have that much experience and education as it pertains, I'm going to be impressed that you did your research and on that objective line that you noted something specific to me. That means that you're actually putting the time and effort into caring what you're submitting, right? Okay, so another thing that you can do is do your research. And I was trying to say that applying is just not enough anymore. And so both my kids have looked for jobs, and I've assisted both of them in this process. And one of the things I've told them, because they have purely had to apply online, like on Indeed. Well, they don't have very much experience. One's 18. One, when I was helping my daughter, she also was in high school. No experience. So we had to get really creative with their resumes. And some of the things that we were able to put on there is obviously, experience at school, what transcends, schoolwork and employment. So I also had them follow up. And I'm going to tell you, this is key. Even if you're applying online, follow up. I'm old school. It impresses me. I'm an HR director. I look at these things. Follow up with a thank you card, note, email. I prefer a note, okay, because anyone can email. Okay, anyone can do that. But someone who took the time to personally put my name or anyone on the interview panel's name and send a thank you for the interview, all you're doing, you're showing your soft skills, right? Your ability to connect, and you're also showing a true care for that job that you're interested in. You are going to stand out, even if you don't have as much experience or education, okay? So always follow through. And that's what I made my kids do. They about drove them nuts. But I said, okay, you applied in there. Each week, I want you to go in there and follow up. And I'm telling you, every time my daughter got a job, it's because she was in the right place at the right time when she went and followed up on that job she applied for. Because you can go in there, they're not going to hand you an application. Most of the time, the people there, they're not even the ones necessarily collecting the application. There's usually like a recruitment person. But if you stand out enough and you ask for the manager or the hiring supervisor, and you put that effort into connecting with them, and obviously you want to use all those great soft skills, smile. Now obviously COVID, not everyone feels comfortable going in, but you still can obviously wear a mask, do the whole appropriate safety precautions. But if you're not comfortable with that, follow up with a note, make a phone call. Hi, I just wanted to follow up on my interview. I want to thank you for that opportunity. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'm still interested. I'm excited after hearing more about your company, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so let's say you get the, I'm sorry, it didn't work out for this job. Still, follow up with that company if you're really truly interested in that particular field or company that you applied for. Regularly follow up, even if you don't see a job posting. You'd be surprised how many things just come up out of the blue where there is a emergency need for someone immediately. Be that person on their mind when they immediately need to hire someone, okay? Very important. Follow up is everything. timing is everything. Be consistent and follow up. I always have this story I like to share with this one particular real estate person. I sold my house, so many years ago. And every Christmas, every holiday, I still get a card from her. And I'm like, I'm not even selling my house, but she still sends me one. So who do you think is the first person that comes to mind? Even right now, I can tell you her name, comes to mind when I'm thinking if I want to sell my home. I'm thinking of her, right? So if it's a job you are really passionate about or a company you are really passionate about, follow up. Every 3-4 months, send a thank you card. Hey, thinking about you, just following up. Whatever you need to do, stand out. It's competitive out there. And without a face, you're just a piece of paper. Don't be a piece of paper. Okay. All right. So what else do you need to do? You need to make connections. The whole old scenario of it's, who you know, it still applies today. Most employers hire through referrals or word of mouth. They do utilize, regular means of collecting applications and so forth and so on, but they also really rely on word of mouth and references from people. I've got this great person, so they don't have to worry, okay, this person I know and I value says that this will be a great applicant. I'm going to listen to them. So make sure that you are making those connections. So where can you make connections? Well, you can make connections. I suggest thoroughly that you go on LinkedIn and create a very nice, very professional profile and put all your information on there and start making connections immediately. This is where you can really get to know people. And when that time comes and you're looking for a job, if you've done your job and stayed connected, that doesn't mean just be inactive, because I see a lot of inactive people on social media sites. Be active. Don't just float around and don't, ignore everyone. Make comments. Like what they're saying. Share what they're saying. This includes on other social media sites like Twitter or Facebook. If you have like a business profile on Facebook, make those connections, comment, share, and follow up consistently. It's gonna be work. When my daughter was looking for a job, she's like, well, I applied for 2 places today. And I was like, no, this is your full-time job, is to look for a job. So applying for 2 places isn't going to help. You are going to have to really work hard at applying for the places you want to work and following up. It's not going to fall in your laps. You got to do the work. Okay. So the next thing you need to do is hone your skills. This is particularly important if you don't have a lot of experience or education in a field that you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in human resources and you don't have a degree in human resources. Maybe you have a degree in history. That's what I have my degree in. How are you going to get connections, for one, in human resources, and how are you going to get some educational or certifications? You're going to have to invest in yourself and what you want to do. That means you're going to have to invest in some online training. Anything that you do, let's say you don't have a degree, go online, attend any type of HR training, attend any type of certification programs in HR, become a member of the National SHRM, become a member of your local SHRM. SHRM is a place where all HR professionals get together and we have luncheons and we have trainings and we make connections. Those are really important connections. Most chapters have a student membership. So let's say you're going to school for HR. You can ask for and see if you qualify for a membership through the SHRM programs. If not, it's not very expensive. It's worth the money for the connections and training and experience you can get. And all of that, you get to put on your resume, okay? So let's say you never even had a job in HR, but you have a long list that you're a SHRM, student member, you've been on the SHRM board, you're, a member of the national SHRM organization, you participate in Cow SHRM and Cow chambers. Anything you can do to beef up your resume, even if it's just certifications and training, put all of those on there. That shows you have something, and something is better than nothing, okay, in terms of experience. So hone your skills. There's so much online training anymore, and they're not that expensive. All of those have certifications of some sort. I encourage you, if you're wanting to move in a field that you perhaps don't have experience or education in, do these certification programs. Even the College of Sequoias has a vocational training department where you can take even career type training, and all of those things are very valuable as you try to get out and find a job. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Find a mentor. Okay, so let's say you do get involved in your local organization that's in a field that you're interested in. Connect with someone and ask if you can mentor with them. If you're not working and you're searching for work, ask if they accept volunteers. How impressive would that be? Look, I'm willing to volunteer a month of my time. I'm so interested in learning more about human resources. I'm willing to take that time. Do you have an internship? Anything to get your foot in the door is a benefit to you and the organization you want to be in. I think that's all for today. I want to save some tips for you for later, but I hope this has been helpful. And obviously, if you ever have any questions, you are more than welcome to contact me, jbrooks@proteusInc.org, or you can contact me through my website, workplacewanda.com. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye. Toodles.